Hey guys, so I wanted to make a little update video. Everything's been kind of a whirlwind, but in a good way. A lot of unexpected things that initially seemed bad, but they're good. They're good. In the beginning of this week, I wrote down what I wanted to talk about for this weekend. A video about removing emotional blockages and fears. So I wrote down everything. I wrote down the whole process and I was like, wow, this is really good. But I felt done. I felt fine. I was like, I don't really have anything left to work on. I felt like, I was being genuinely me. And later that night, I kind of went to a wobbly place. I didn't feel too good about it. And I was like, let me set out an intention. So I set an intention to be enlightened, just to make sure that I was going on the right path. And I got a little more bang for my buck. So this dream that I had that night was 3 days long in real time. It was insane. And in this dream, I was in a boarding school and I felt constrained. I felt like every action I did was controlled. I was people pleasing. I changed my look. And if you know me, I don't like being controlled in any way, shape, or form. I was like, I was not happy and I snapped. I snapped on the third day, yelled at someone, got exiled because, can't do that. Can't project your anger onto someone. And it was tough. I got shunned by all the people I loved, and then I was left on this beautiful farm by myself. And that was it. And when I woke up, I felt terrible. And I started to just instantly realize how much I had been people pleasing, but I hadn't been noticing. I wasn't in my head. I wasn't aware enough to see that I was. So kind of made me upset. I started to just list down all the things that I was doing that was people pleasing, and I just really felt like trash. I was like, this is not good. I don't feel like I'm in control of my own actions because I'd made these things habit, and I'd make these things a habit for long enough to where they were going under my radar. So this was really hard to break, but things went better, and then things got weird. This is when I'm talking about that extra bang for my buck. I was sleeping with Sarah and I was laying with her and I woke up, kind of dazed, and I closed my eyes and went back to sleep. And for those of you that are spiritual, your third eye is located there. Well, I saw 2 flashes of light when I closed my eyes up in this general location. And immediately after, I had my hand on her back. Where my hand was, she twitched hard. And I was like, okay, people twitch when they sleep. That's fine. That's fine. But those 2 flashes of light were kind of like, I don't really know what that was. I'd made a promise to myself that I wasn't going to chase this stuff anymore. If it happens, it happens. But I'm going to let it happen naturally. I'm not going to force anything. I just pushed it to the side and went to sleep. And I went to close my eyes to go to sleep. And all of a sudden, I was having an out-of-body experience. And I knew something was in the room, but I couldn't see it. I didn't feel anything bad. I could feel my own fear because I was like, shoot, what's going on? I wasn't expecting this, but I felt no external bad. So I got put back and I was like, okay, and I went to sleep. I didn't think much about it. Some more weird stuff happened later today, but they weren't significant. And I came back home after that day and I just felt bad. I didn't feel good mentally at all. I was not in a good headspace. When I get a lot of emotions flowing through me, this stuff starts to happen a lot more. And I sat down at my dinner table and I was just like, today wasn't a good day. And I look up at the girls' bathroom and their door's open and there's someone peeking over the door and looking at me. And I was like, no, not in the mood right now. Nope. And I didn't get any bad feelings from this thing again. But it didn't occur to my mind to connect those 2 moments. So I just closed the door and just was like, I'm going to go shower. I can't do this right now. Went to go shower and I started talking to myself, just talking myself through these problems. But I felt like something was holding me there, holding me in that negative place. And I was like, I was kind of annoyed because I was like, no, why? Why am I being held here? I can usually talk myself to happiness. I just kind of gave in after a little bit. I was like, it's whatever. So I just started thinking, and all of a sudden it was like this guiding hand was flowing with me and it was making me feel better. It was singing. It was a song. My thoughts became a song, words that were just flowing together, and it helped talk me through my problems. But then it told me that I needed to try this technique. So I went to my room and I did the technique. I did the technique fully because all these emotions, all these angers, fears, sadness, all this stuff that was coming up, it was coming up because I had to deal with it. These were things that I had pushed down. I had just not treated. And they were still there, and they were still messing with me without me really realizing it, because they'd been there for so long that I thought that was just normal. So I went through all these problems and issues, and I got them out, and the voice went away. I haven't felt it since. I haven't felt it at all, really. I haven't seen anything. Nothing weird has happened since. And for the next few days, those old thoughts of habit, they were coming in again, but I wasn't really letting myself follow them, and they just kind of died out. And I'd say yesterday was the first day that I just fully was just me. After all the removal of everything, I was just me. It felt good. It felt really good. I'm excited to see. I'm gonna ride this for a week just to make sure that this actually works. Look at me marketing my own thing. I want to make sure it works. And it's kind of it. I lied. I wanted to give another continuation to the update because a lot happened last night. With this process, clearing out all the trauma, all the bad things that have happened, I've become a lot more attuned to my body. Last night, actually, after making the video and just relaxing for a bit, I had the urge to go for a run. And didn't question it, felt like I needed exercise, got ready and started running. I was guided towards this one path that I walked way back, probably last year, something around there. And it was a special day when I walked on this path. I just kind of was told hey, you need to grieve. Because one thing I didn't give myself was time to grieve for any of what's happened. I've actually just forced being happy, kind of going against the natural process, because that's all I really knew. And looking back, I did the same thing when my grandpa died, and it didn't help at all. It wasn't until I just stopped and naturally went through the emotions that I felt better. I grieved, and I grieved hard. And I won't get into the details of it, but it was also almost spiritual in a way, because as I was grieving, I was walking down this path. And so you get a picture of this. I'm on this road in an open field, pretty much. Probably a mile forward is just open. Sometimes when you're happy, the birds are chirping. It seems like the sun's on you, all this magic. Well, it was a total opposite. As I was walking by, there was a pile of 25 geese, and they just stared. They were loud before I showed up, and when I walked by, they just stared. There was a pond full of life that was, jittering. It was alive. And as I walked close, I was probably 100 feet out. It just went silent. Just pure silent. And I walked by it, not a word, nothing. It was everything knew that was not good. Came back home, and after grieving, I felt an anger. And it was an anger towards a specific person. And this anger was wanted to cause pain to this person, but I didn't want to cause pain to this person. It was just this emotion. So I went with it. I went to just see where it would guide me. And all of a sudden, my whole right arm just started burning. It went numb. And I realized that that's where the anger was housed. Because, that's the arm that I punched the door with. That's the arm that I used for the anger that day. I don't know if I got past it. I feel better. I haven't felt the anger, that hostility come back. But it's interesting, because when I first did the process, I remember my head burning as I went through these pains, and they haven't really come back. So it's interesting, because whenever something happens, it seems like that the part of your body that trauma, that fear, that emotional pain is associated with gets activated. It shows this is where it's housed. A lot of the times it's in the chest where the heart is. The arm was the first one that I was whoa. So that's it. So yeah, this emotional healing process thing's weird, and it's going to be really weird to explain when it comes out, but yeah, I'm done now. All right, peace.